Hello, welcome to Fernanda Paiva Hitchhiking Stars Astrology channel, looking into transits weekly and what can we do with these transits? Like, I love to say I do work with a method called Constructive Astrology, where we look into symbolism and we're gonna brainstorm what's the best we can do with this? What's the most empowering version of yourself that you want to bring out into the world, and how these transits can facilitate that process for you. I've been, I think I haven't commented last on the on my video, but I was saying I've been reading this book called The Big Leap. I'm loving it. I really want to implement as well in some of the things I do, or like use some of the words and some of the ideas from that book, because I really feel resonates a lot with my work. The author is called Gay Hendricks. So very, very interesting. And he talks that we can be at our zone of genius. And I love to think about that. So there's like a zone of incompetence, zone of competence, zone of excellence, and zone of genius. So, it's very simple to think about. If you think, incompetence is like when you're really not good at doing something and you're there, that area, so doing that. Zone of competence is when you're actually good at something. I used to be very good at waitressing, but is that my zone of genius? I don't think so. Nothing against, any jobs or anything, but I do feel with my Mercury in Virgo, very, very powerful in my chart. I think is the most powerful planet in my chart. I needed to do something brainy. And that Mercury in Virgo certainly helped me doing, a wonderful waitressing job. When I first moved to England in my 20s, because I could remember things and I could get right orders and I was very detail oriented, but that wasn't my zone of genius. And then you got your zone of excellence. And then, for example, I can be good at helping people doing things in a group. I can facilitate, I can be a leader sort of person. I can organize the thoughts of the group. But is that my zone of genius? I don't think so. I think my zone of genius is connected with astrology, because according to Hendricks, it's something that you love, love, love doing. You feel alive. It's like time just flies by, and you provide something that's really good for others and is really good for you at the same time. So there's something about the zone of genius which is really powerful. I actually made myself a note about it because I want to put it on my wall. I'm having my inspirational wall right in front of me, and I would suggest you do the same, because it's wonderful. It's like you're always seeing the things that inspires you greatly. And it says the zone of genius, these are the things that I'm uniquely suited to do and which serve my highest purposes for life. So I love to use astrology to help people finding their zone of genius. So no fear-mongering here, no like, oh my God, this is awful, this is so bad, like wait for this to happen for the next 5 years of your life, nothing good is going to happen, and things like that, which I have heard people hearing from an astrologer before. So let's have a look at our constructive astrology for the week. And also, I want to know how you're feeling now that almost all the planets are direct. So we had Mars retrograde from the 25th of October, I believe, until last week. We had Mercury going retrograde as well for 3 weeks, from the end of December until yesterday, like the day before yesterday. So these are like big news, good news. Again, don't think about it as a bad time since October. I think there was a perfect time for us to revisit, rethink, reassess, regather ourselves to plan what we're going to be doing. So if you can use that, it's like when you're in the ocean, right? If you're used to going and bathing in the ocean, it's like when the sea wave is coming to break on you, when he's gonna we call it break in Portuguese, I don't know if you call it in English, but when the sea wave is about to break on you, like there's no use in like going against it, unless you have a surfing board. But there's no use in going against it, because that's going to drag you. So you kind of have to dive deep and go under it, right? I think that's kind of similar with certain astrological transits. And I really have that feeling. I mean, October, for example, for me was when I started, like I finished my master's the end of September, and I started looking into marketing. I started looking into business strategies and, all the things that go really well. My progress descended in Capricorn. But I started looking into that and regathering myself for all of these months to relaunch my new website, to relaunch a new mission and a new packaging, you know, and a new self, because I'm moving from apprentice to the expert. And I want to externalize that. That's happening inside already, but that needs to be externalized and communicated as well. So that transit was perfect for it, right? That Mars retrograde in Gemini, which is about thinking and, you know, ideas and mental strategies and things like that. That was perfect. And also Mercury in Capricorn retrograde. That was really perfect, really good for doing that. So I've been doing that. My website is almost ready now. I'm just like writing the copy, and I feel so much more inspired now to write the things and to move forward, to take a step forward, to go ahead. Whereas before it was a bit like dragging myself. At times I would feel a bit guilty, you know, like, why am I not publishing this yet? Why am I not doing this yet? But walk the talk, isn't it? And I'm an astrologer, and I know that there are certain cycles that we can't just fight against. So similar to the sea wave, to the tides, etc., we better work with it. So how have you been feeling since Mars and Mercury have gone direct? In some time now, I can't remember which day exactly, but we can have a look at the chart. Uranus will also station and go direct, and that will complete all of the planets going direct. So we're going to have a beautiful window between February and March as well, where the planets are all going to be going direct. So you can accomplish a lot there. Like, things can really pick up speed. They can really move fast and forward, right? So we want to take up that sort of window of opportunity there and use it at our favor. There's a plant just behind me, and I feel like compelled to make a comment on it, because some people think that this is dead, that the plant is like struggling to live, but it's not. It's very much alive. I wouldn't have like a dead plant behind me. I am very much a plant mother. I love plants. I would say maybe I am a bit of a green witch. And that plant is recovering from I was talking to Alejo, my podcast, and Alejo, who is a wonderful astrologer as well, Alejo Lopez, please do check him. Alejo was like, oh, okay, so that is that plant dead? So he's the last one that said to me. And I was like, no, that plant isn't dead. And he's like, oh, okay, so it's struggling to leave. It's like he had a Pluto transit. And I'm like, yeah, the Pluto transit of my plant was my dad, because my dad overwatered this plant. And since I came back to Brazil a few months ago, I've been like nursing it back to life and watering with the right amounts as well. So it's very much alive. There's a lot of new leaves, especially at the tips of it. So it's not dead. just a little you know, a little observation there. Okay, so let's have a look at the chart for the week and the passage of time, astrologically speaking, and what we have, and what could be the, you know, what could be the things that we can do with it. So what's happening is tomorrow we have a new moon, but before that as well, actually, today we have a transition. So today is beginning of Aquarius season. So Aquarius season is beginning, shifting the sun from, you know, from Capricorn to Aquarius, a new perspective or a new place where we're going to place that solar kind of light, right? The solar, sort of the hero's journey represented by the sun. And I think by transit, the sun sort of shines the light very strongly onto the placements, the houses, you know, for us to become very, very conscious of that part of our chart. So where is Aquarius in your chart? What planets do you have in Aquarius, if you have any? Because that's going to be under the spotlight for the next month, you know, with Aquarius, with Sun in Aquarius. So Aquarius season, all about community, groups of friends, you know, people in general. And what's happening that's important is, boom, new moon tomorrow. So tomorrow, 21st of January 2023, a new lunar cycle is starting. So we keep going with the cycles, yeah? Cycles within cycles within cycles. That's the way I see astrology. That's the way I see life as well. And we better align ourselves with these cycles, right? Rather than try to force, you know, our decisions upon nature, which we know it doesn't happen that way, right? So Sun and Moon at 1 degree Aquarius that's, you know, very, very new beginning there. Boom, in the sign of Aquarius, again, communities, friends, groups of friends, ideals as well, you know? Are you doing things that are aligned with your ideals? How aligned with your ideals it is? Those are very important. And I would say even more, those are actually very, very fundamental, because this one of the second major aspect of this new moon is Venus coming to a very, very close conjunction with Saturn. So they're both going to be conjoined on a day after, the 22nd, but they're very, very close already during this new moon. 23 and 24 degrees Aquarius. One, if you have anything of those degrees, that's going to be personally very important to you. If that's on your ascendant, if that's aspecting any of your natal plans, if you have 24 degrees of the fixed signs anywhere, this new moon will be extra relevant for you because of that Saturn transit and Venus coming up to a close, you know, conjunction as well. Now, the way I see that conjunction is take your values very seriously. You got to take your values, Venus, extremely seriously, Saturn. So you have to place and make decisions and initiate the cycle, this interesting cycle. Taking that into consideration is starting and initiating things, you know, if they are part of your core value, if possible. Making lists about your core values. You know, Aquarius is an air sign, is very rational. That Saturn Venus is very rational, so it's great for you to communicate, to write it down, to come up with, you know, something. Put it on your wall, you know, do like little notes as well on your wall, write post-its, and think about what your core values are, because this new lunar cycle will require that from you in order for you to harvest, you know, the goods, basically, which will be coming during the full moon, which is when the culmination happens. You got to be very, very aware of what's happening. And if that's a personal transit for you, then all the even more so, you know, for you to really realize and look into that Saturn at 24 is transiting my ascendant, I have to say, is a square to my ascendant, and it has been very interesting in terms of like how much can I actually socialize and how much work I want to do, because I've been, you know, so focused on work and I really don't feel like socializing as much as I used to years ago, as I used to feel when I was younger. You know, I just want to get my things done. I want to get, you know, I want to be my zone of genius. I want to be doing this more and more. I want to spread the word and I want to help as many people as I can to understand transits, understand their charts, to whatever it is. Like I really feel this is my mission. So that Saturn is somehow bringing that challenge. You know, my friends want to see me, people want to hang out, and how do I mediate that? And it has to be based on my values. So that's a great opportunity for me to explore that. So it's the same for you. Have a look where that falls, because this is one of the main signatures of this full moon. Of this new moon, sorry. This new moon is also very close to Pluto, so there is something transformative. You know, the sun was conjoined Pluto yesterday, I think. So it's really shining a light, or the day before yesterday, it was really shining a light on, you know, the transformations, the things that we need to let go, the ways that don't work for us anymore, and the ways of expressing ourselves that don't work anymore. So I think that new moon is a continuation. And the culmination will be a full moon in Leo, which, you know, in a couple of weeks, we'll be talking about a lot about self-expression, being authentic, you know, coming up with unique traits that you can contribute with the whole. I think that's a great way of seeing Aquarius and Leo. It's like, what are my unique gifts, Leo, my special gifts, my special traits, Leo, that I can offer to the community, Aquarius, that I can help the group with? How can I be part of the group, Aquarius, but very heart-centered, Leo? So you're very much your individual, but as a place, you know, having a place in the community in the whole, having your social responsibilities as well in place. So this new moon is very important to be aware of it and to be thinking about these things, because during the full moon, that's, you know, is very unforgiving. We're going to see a lot of patterns around that. So here is the conjunction, very, very exact, and that's going to be tomorrow, the 22nd, not tomorrow, sorry, in 2 days, the 22nd of January. Let's see what else is interesting that's going to be happening this week. That's Monday. Moon moves to Pisces, so changing the mood, you know, from Aquarius to Pisces, a little bit more emotionally involved, a little bit more emotionally devoted as well somehow. That moon will conjoin Neptune as well on the Tuesday 24th to the 25th. Moon and Neptune will be very close together. Great for daydreaming, for, you know, creating visions, divine inspiration. That's a great way I like to think about Pisces. And Moon moves to Aries. That's actually an interesting movement. And, you know, I don't focus so much on the moon, but I think that's a nice movement. That's Wednesday, 25th of January, because this moon in Aries will be conjoined Jupiter and it will be a sextile to the sun. So it will also be a sextile to the new moon. So this could be us taking steps, you know, continuing that cycle of the moon, moving ahead with that, moving ahead with decisions, with the seeds that we planted with the new moon. So because it's conjoined Jupiter, it could be really fertile. We could really like spread, you know, far and beyond some of these seeds, really take steps, really make it happen. You know, it's Aries as well. It's quite, okay, I'm going to do it. So that's an interesting, you know, movement there for this week. And then what's interesting really is here, look, 27th of Jan, boom, Venus moves into Pisces. So Venus will leave Aquarius, will move into Pisces, and that's again another shift into our values there. It's like a slight attunement to a different note, different musical note when a planet changes signs. And that Venus moving into Pisces is a period of time there that we're gonna be a little bit more inspired, a little bit more romantic, a little bit more spiritual. You know, the otherworldly things will kind of take up a new importance for us. You know, it's the first planet moving to Pisces before the Pisces season starts. So it's like a preparation into that. And eventually that will come close to that Neptune. And it's going to be like a very enhanced energy of that Pisces, that Neptune. And it will be amazing for dancing, for divine inspiration, for doing creative work. But we'll get to there. We'll talk about that when we cross that bridge, like they say in English. So that's it. This is what I have to say for this week. I hope this was helpful. I hope you can align yourself and be in your zone of genius, be the best you can be, do the best you can do with the transits you're having as well. There's always the best and the worst when it comes to star signs or anything astrology related, and many other colors and shades in between. So if we aim for the best, if we aim for expressing something that's positive, is creative, it lifts us up, I think the world would be a better place. So let me know in the comments how you're feeling, what's going on with the Mars turning direct as well and everything else. And I'll be seeing you all next week again. So until then, and happy new moon. Bye.